target, and then we see here the closed loop short term kicks in here and it starts to dissipate that down over time. If we kept going here, it'd probably be back to roughly 5-6% short term adjustment as we were finding before. So what does this mean here? If we're looking at this, it's a little bit lean on the post start. That means that wherever we're at right here, we need to correct that in that post start table, and this is going to be on our warm engine. So if we go in here to starting into post start and we look at where that cursor's at, we're right here. So we actually need to go in and add some more fueling on our warm post start between 50 and 60 here specifically, but I'll add some in all the way out through the rest of the warmer temperatures. So I'll go in here and let me add in something like maybe 20%, and then I'll go here and I'll do a C, vertically interpolate, and then I'll go do here an R, and I'll horizontally interpolate. I can even interpolate maybe this up a little bit more, give it a little bit more runtime. A lot of engines will get some heat soak when they're sitting, and as a result, it starts to lean out when you fire them off, and you have to give a little bit more fueling on that post start. So we looked at that. So the idle's stable right now, and that warm post start should be better when we try it again, and by adding our value in there. Let's go here to save. Let's go ahead and save that real quick. Okay, now let's talk about a few additional things here. Let me go ahead and just key off real quick so I can talk. What we're gonna do right now is do a pool, and we want to go ahead and make sure everything's 100% consistent before we drain out our petrol fuel here and go and do a flex fuel based tune. Now, what I want to do before we do our pool is try to slow down some of that feedback rate when we're in closed loop lambda control at higher loads and higher engine speeds. It seems to be maybe a little bit too quick, creating some problems for us. As we mentioned earlier in the video, that pink line from the wide open throttle pool in the last tutorial doing the wide open throttle tuning, it still is getting some swinging back and forth. It's trying to chase that air fuel, and we want to go ahead and slow that down so that it doesn't potentially create a little bit instability in the air fuel as we're in wide open throttle conditions, because we're using this for feedback. So let's learn how we can do that, and then we'll do our pool and check it and make sure that looks good. Let's check this out here. So we're going to go into engine functions, and we're gonna go here to our lambda wideband, and we're gonna go here into the closed loop control setup, into the lambda control PID. In the PID setup, as we were mentioning before, proportional integral derivative control, proportional will drive the short-term response to the target. The integral will make adjustments to hold us to the target steady state, and the derivative will look at the rate of change over time and try to drive the short-term response to catch deviations as that air fuel is moving around. We usually don't want to have very much of any derivative feedback for lambda control. That can create a lot of instability in our fueling. We only use proportional and integral. In the case here of our Emtron, we're finding that we only have a proportional gain table that we can edit. We see the integral gain table here is grayed out, and that's because we have it in this simplified mode under lambda closed loop PID algorithm standard. We want to change this to a revised option. So we click on this right here, and we put a 1, that's going to be for revised. The other thing we have here is the lambda deadband. This will be something else to need to consider. This is saying that whatever the target's going to be at, let's say it's at 80 lambda, just to keep this simple. If that lambda amount, the actual lambda, comparing it to the target, is deviating any more than this amount, 0.005 lambda, it will allow the closed loop to start to kick in and make adjustments. Now, this is a pretty fine increment for that short-term correction to start to move and start to make adjustments. We can edit this and make this a bigger number, so it has to see larger change or larger difference between target lambda and actual for that closed loop to kick in, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Let's actually do that real quick. I'm going to go in here and edit this to 0.01. So I'm going to double the value. This should help a little bit with instability, just overall, keeping the short-term feedback still quick, but not overly reactive, not hypersensitive. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.